Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to be talking about Wolverine Origin 2. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I am your host, Brent. Today we're going to be reviewing Wolverine Origin 2, or sometimes just called Origin 2, but the spine clearly says Wolverine Origin 2. So what's this book called? This is by Kieran Gillen and Adam Kubert. Adam is the brother of Andy Kubert, who did the first one right here that we talked about on the channel a few days ago. So, Origin 2. What is this? When did it come out? Is there a good reason for it? Well, Wolverine Origin 2 is the sequel to the quote-unquote seminal, not really, Wolverine Origin. This was like Marvel trying to do a new type of like evergreen story that they could repackage and sell year after year after year, the way DC does with Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Dark Knight Returns, and now they're starting to do all this stuff with the Black Label line. I think those are going to be the new evergreens. Maybe Batman Damned, not quite. But Superman Year One, I'm sure, will certainly sell. Harleen, you'll see over and over again. The Scott Snyder stuff will sell over and over again. Under the Red Hood will sell over and over again. And Marvel really hasn't like tapped into this kind of fan beloved storylines. Like I feel like everything they've done in the last at least 10 years has been so-so to okay, and I think the only thing of real consequence that they've done and has come out has been anything to do with Miles Morales. And you can thank Brian Bendis for that, you can thank the Ultimate Universe for that, and bringing him over into the Marvel Universe, even that run was okay. The stuff they're doing with, that Saladin Ahmed is doing right now in the title is really interesting and good, but he's really the only like breakout character and or story that's come out of the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, in the last 10 or 15 years or so. So this was another attempt to create an evergreen book that would sell over and over again. The problem is there's nothing to this book. There is no substance. It's just a cash grab. This was published in 2014. So it's Wolverine, or its magazine form is Origin 2, number 1 through 5. So you got Kieran Gillen, who's a really good writer, honestly. Not in this book, but other books I've read by him, he is an excellent writer. I think he's writing one of my favorite books right now called Once and Future. And it's about this take, that book, not this one, is about this take on the Arthurian legend in Britain, set in the modern day, where every legend you've ever heard is real, and there's some weird magic stuff, and you can inherit a legend and become that legend in real time, in today's time, to fight the old legends and tales and stuff and fulfill prophecies, all this crazy stuff. It's got art by Dan Mora. It's a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic book. You should go check it out right now, because it's way better than this. Don't waste your time on this. I can tell you right that by now. This is a deluxe edition. I'll have an overview up on the channel that I'll point to in the cards up here probably at some point. This retails for $25. So it's kind of a short, not a short, but cheaper deluxe edition. And you can tell it's a deluxe edition because here's the size difference. Like here's regular trade, here's the deluxe size. So that's enough of that. But Wolverine Origin 2 is just a cash grab. It doesn't really advance anything in Wolverine's tale, how he got to Weapon X, how he became a member of Department H. It's set, again, so far back in Wolverine's history that they feel they can do anything. And the thing I complained a lot about in Origin a couple days ago with the zero ties to X-Men lore, they kind of do here, because you have Sabretooth on the back cover, and he's featured prominently in this book. He's a mutant, so this is actually like Sabretooth, Victor Creed. So he's kind of the prime antagonist, if you will, even though whatever they're doing is not really like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of weird. And anything that happens in this book is supposed to fuel this lifelong blood feud and we're talking multiple lifetimes here, but like this takes place, it says explicitly, in 1907. So you're telling me this is supposed to, what happens in here is supposed to fuel a blood feud for 100 years, and even what happens in here is kind of taken away at the end. So why does Victor Creed hate Logan so much? That's not explained here. So it's a letdown in that way, because you think you're getting that, and then by the end of the book, it's just all stripped away, and it's like, surprise, none of that really mattered. So that was a big disappointment. The artwork is good, like the other Origin book. It's the best thing about it, except it's Adam Kubert, not Andy Kubert. Me, in particular, I have bones to pick with Adam Kubert, not Andy. Not for any personal reasons, just how they do storytelling. Andy Kubert, these are both the Kubert brothers. They're descended, their father was Joe Kubert, who helped create Hawkman. He's a legendary artist, legendary inker from the comics in the late Golden Age, Silver Age, through the Bronze Age, Copper Age, all that stuff. He's a legend. He's gone now. He passed away a few years ago, but he founded the Kubert School. And I believe the two brothers right now are running the school, I think. But anyway, I would prefer Andy Kubert over Adam Kubert any day of the week. And this was made clear to me when they came to DC, and you had Andy Kubert do the Batman run with Grant Morrison, and Adam Kubert was over on Superman with Jeff Johns. Andy Kubert's style, to me, I think is my preference, my preferred style. His storytelling is a little cleaner. He clearly knows, what panels are going to go together. He uses most of the page most of the time, and I think he just is a more well-rounded storyteller. Even though they're both good, they are both long-time veterans. I think they've both been in the comics industry for 35 years, so way older than me at this point. They've been in comics at least since the late 80s, early 90s. But to me, I'll prefer Adam any day. Anytime Adam, this is my main complaint. Adam, when he does a double page spread, if he's spreading a bunch of panels across, he'll spread one panel clearly to tell you it's a double page spread, and then it's clear to go all the way across here, and then all the way across at the bottom. When Adam does a double page spread, and I've noticed this in many of his books, not just Wolverine Origin 2. This has less of it than some other books he's done. And I have read this before, so I didn't get as confused. But he has this tendency sometimes to do a double page spread. This is right here. This is in issue 1, so there's no spoilers or anything. This is a double page spread. He'll do this thing where he'll do, I think, 1 or 2 panels that cross the entire page. So this, actually, there's no panels that go entire page. But can you tell which way you're supposed to read right here in this book? I mean, in a comic book, you would probably be able to tell because it would lay pretty flat. But in a hardcover edition, in a trade paperback or whatever, I think you're going to have a tough time because of the gutter loss, right? So it really goes top, left to right, all the way across these 2 pages every single time. And these little indentations here are supposed to let you know that this is one panel and this is the other, instead of splitting it down the line and going top to bottom, the way most other storytellers would. And really the only thing in the middle, to let you know it's a double page spread, if you didn't catch on to these parts here, is this panel at the very bottom of the page, which, is a good thing, but me personally, I would put that at the top of the page if I was going to do something like that, because it lets the reader know that, hey, this is a double page spread, and I need to read all the way across these 2 pages. But if you don't do that at the very top of the page, and I don't figure it out until the bottom, I could have been reading this way, and then gone, oh shit, and then have to reread it again, and that's just frustrating. So he does that a few times in this. And it's something I really don't like. He also kind of resorts to these 90s moments where you have to turn the book sideways to get a full poster size image of this bear. And while, again, in the single issue is probably just fine, in a collected edition, as these books will always live on. And this is why, some people hate the writing for the collected edition. I don't mind it, But what I really hate is not drawing for the collected edition, because this is how your book is going to live on. You know, you're going to get your single copies, people are going to sign them, whatever, they're going to get tossed. But if you're an artist or something like that, I feel like you should at least draw for the collected edition. So, you know, he's kind of bisecting the bear here, and it loosens the impact because there's such a gap here because it's so early on in the book that I think it loses it. Me personally, do a double page spread this way, landscape, or just a single page and just do the full bear here and something else on the second page. But that's me. I'm not a storyteller. I'm just a reader and now a critic, apparently. But yeah, he does this a lot. Here's another spread. The bear's dead. Now, this is 2 pages. Do we need a 2-page spread? No. But again, I got this little sliver of a panel over here to tell me it's a 2-page spread. Why? I have no idea. Like, just this being 1 page and this being 1 page is just as dynamic, I guess. But why we got to do it across the thing, I have no clue. Here's another one. You know, at least we have a big panel here to let you know it's a 2-page spread and you should read top to bottom, you know, left to right, all across the 2 pages instead of the 1. And then this panel down here bisects the fold. So it's just frustrating. Then you have other things like this where, I know I'm harping on him here, but this just, like, I don't know if in the original one there's an ad or whatever, but to me this is also confusing. So I've shown you these examples, right, of how the double page spread sometimes is a little confusing to read, or it doesn't seem like you really need it. Now, because I've read all these things, you know, and I didn't fall for these this time while reading it because I know what to look for with Andy Kubert. I know he can try and trick me. But like this is 2 pages here, obviously, right? But these are literally 2 pages. This is 1 page. So you read here, and then you go top to bottom all the way down. And then you have this page, which goes top to bottom all the way down in full width pages, right? Here's the problem, is that how do you know? I mean, you know, but because because the panel lines are exactly the same width as the previous page, you don't know. I think you don't know. I think I remember reading this the first time. That was issue number 2, and going like, is this you know, is this 1 page or 2 page? How do I read this? It's a little confusing. And I find that particularly with Adam Kubert, not Andy Kubert. So that's just me. So that's enough of hacking on the artist. He's a terrific artist. There's no other complaints I have in here about his art, his styling. I like the style. It's very similar to his brother Andy's. They're both, you know, looking at their dad basically. And if you look at their dad's style, they're both very similar to their dad. But they all have their own quirks. Andy has more rounded faces than Adam does. Adam tends to like more sharp edges, and his characters can look a little bit more cartoony as of late anyway, in the last 20 years or so, than Andy, who likes to you know, render a little bit more, flesh them out, and do a little bit more of the cross hatching. Whereas, you know, Adam, sorry, I'm getting confused already, tends to go to the more simplistic style when he pulls the camera back far away. You'll get just a simplistic image on the page instead of something super cool. But I love both of them, don't get me wrong, but I think left to their own devices, you know, Adam can get a little confusing. So what is the story here? What are we doing? Well, I think we're trying to explain where Victor Creed came from in Wolverine's origin, and we came up with an idea, or Kieran Gillen came up with it. I don't know who came up with it, if it's another committee thing. But there's nothing in this book that's explaining all the different stuff about how they came up with it. This is just like, hey, we should do a sequel to Origin. It'll sell, right? Is kind of what it feels like to me. The first issue is Wolverine with wolves and a polar bear. That's it. Very little dialogue, some caption boxes. You'll read it very fast. Once the second issue hits, of this 5-issue miniseries, by the way. So why we wasted a full issue on the bears, I have no idea. Or on the wolves and the bear, who knows? Then we get into actually what's happening in the books, and then you're left with doing that with 4 issues Somehow Mr. Sinister is alive in this time frame. I know he's supposed to be very old, but he's doing experiments, and he's seemingly killed, even though that's never given away. So if you're a new reader to the X-Men and you're just reading these 2 Wolverine Origin books because you know him from the movies, you're not going to know who this guy is. You just know him as Nathaniel Essex. He's got pale white skin, and he gets, seemingly killed. There's nothing to let you know that, like, hey, this is a big-time X-Men villain or anything like that. They do call him a mutant, although it's never explained or explored. And then it's basically Wolverine is found in the woods after this polar bear, fight, basically, and is taken in by a circus and exploited that way. And then you get a little bit of like a Stockholm Syndrome thing with this girl, I forget her name is. Anyway, she turns out to be Victor Creed's sister, and so Wolverine kind of falls in love with her. She falls in love with Wolverine, and then by part 4, we're outside the circus, and we're trying to be living in New York City somewhere, and but Wolverine is still like so PTSD'd from his entire existence in the circus, which he was like electrocuted by the Creed brother, Victor Creed. But somehow he's fallen in love with his sister, and he's still living with Victor Creed, even though that was the guy that was torturing him the entire time. It's really weird. It doesn't really make any type of sense. And then, Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex, comes back here at the end, and then we have to have like a battle with him, and that's it. Clara, I think, is the blonde girl's name, the Creed sister. So yeah, you're trying to get revenge on her for something that happened, and then it's taken away at the very end of the book because it turns out since she's a Creed, all the Creed brothers and sisters, there's more of them, have the same healing factor, even though they're not as strong as Wolverine's. So, you thought maybe Victor Creed was going to get mad because he was in love with this girl, Clara. No, he's not in love. Well, it's his sister, so he loves her in that way, not in a romantic way. So you think maybe Victor Creed is going to go after Wolverine for 100 years because he killed the love of his life. Nope. She's alive, and it's not even the love of his life, it's his sister. And she's just a little mad at him or something, and that's the way the book ends. I'm going to show you this last page because it comes out of nowhere. These 2 last pages, and all of a sudden Victor Creed looks like this at the very end of the book, even though he's looked nothing like this anytime before. And this is just to be like, hey, you didn't like the way he looked too much like the guy from the first X-Men movie. Well, now we're going to give him the weird hairy arms and stuff that you know him as, and that's it. Wolverine's again on his own, just waiting for Origin 3, I guess, to pick back up wherever this left off, because they put this so far back in time that they don't really want to tie anything down to a time frame or a time period to make it a real origin for Wolverine. It's just, I feel like it's just these like weird stories that are taking place. The first one's okay. I think it's definitely, I know I didn't really recommend it in the last video, but I don't regret reading it, whereas like reading Origin 2, I definitely regret reading it, because it was a complete waste of time. And I think the reputation of Origin 2, which is nothing right now, shows that. This has a little bit of a reputation, the first one. The sequel, nothing at all. Like, it hit, whimper, bang. There's no real story. There's no real revelations. Nothing to speak of, nothing to think about over and over and over again, the way that you can go back and dissect V for Vendetta, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns, or, anything by Jeff Johns and Green Lantern, Fables, all these Vertigo series, 100 Bullets, all these different things. There's nothing to dissect in Wolverine Origin 2. So, not even a mystery. Like, even the first Origin had the mystery of, like, who's his real dad, So, anyway, complete letdown by Kieran Gillen, who's normally a fantastic writer. But, yeah, don't waste your money on Wolverine Origin 2. So, that was my 20-minute rant. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share down below, and we will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.